殷切盼望终于成真，法王噶玛巴来了。应赤巴尊贵的洛本天津仁波切与所有在台噶玛噶居传承喇嘛虔诚之请，法王噶玛巴陛下于2014年11月28日驾临台湾，展开为期12天的弘法之旅，并举行祈求夏玛巴法王迅捷转世祈愿大法会。接机的信众法友簇拥着挚爱的上师噶玛巴献卡达，祈求加持，灿烂欢喜的笑容绽放在每个人的脸上，喜悦的暖流荡漾在冬日台湾。洛本天津仁波切迎接法王，驱车同往桃园高铁站，搭乘高铁到台南。功德主苏文珍、徐美金居士敬献卡达鲜花供养，法王终于出现在眼前。热情的弟子挥舞法界旗，纷纷拿起手机拍照。洛本天津仁波切带领喇嘛以最高规格仪仗恭迎法王，亲执香棒前导，熏香氤氲，法乐高明，众人无比前进，恭迎至尊法王嘉华噶玛巴。熟悉的圣容终于从梦中来到眼前，法王噶玛巴是大悲观音化身。释迦牟尼佛曾于《三摩地王经》中受记，任何人只要亲见噶玛巴一面，听闻名号，意念噶玛巴，便能从染污遮障之中解脱。法王抵达山门口，功德主陈玉莲居士献花致敬。挚爱的上师法王，欢迎您回家。我们追随法王与上师仁波切，在华灯初上之际，转舍利塔，绕大佛，一声又一声噶玛巴切诺，蜿蜒弥漫山谷，亦步亦趋，不离不弃。就在这个新夜，看见了光明，看见了道路。循着圣者的足迹，入于大手印之门。海会云集，殊胜法言，百千万劫难遭遇。高亢嘹亮的贾铃演绎前进的乐章。从西藏族普寺到噶林棚，到台湾，亲近无暇的三昧爷，成就伟大的佛行事业。莲师第二佛如今视现眼前，巍峨大佛因上师圣心而万般庄严，愿众生不再遭受五毒煎熬，愿无明遮障从根清净，祥和喜乐遍满人间。与上师连心祈祷，直至成佛，求您垂恩眷顾，莫相舍离。在禅修中安住寂静，归于无声，谛听内在上师的法音，噶玛巴切诺。2014年11月29日，法王噶玛巴台湾祈愿之旅第二天，噶玛噶居寺于如来殿七佛前，为至尊法王陛下举行庄严殊胜的升座大典。当法王噶玛巴戴上黑宝冠时，神圣的一刻震撼激励所有弟子的心，仿佛噶玛巴杜松前八尊者从唐卡里边走了出来。多生多劫闲续的因缘，此刻大慈悲父 就在眼前，噶玛巴千诺。赤巴尊贵的若本天津仁波切带领在台仁波切、堪布、喇嘛们，向法王噶玛巴陛下敬献曼达与身口意功德事业供养及八吉祥、七正宝等圣物，愿一切众生生如来家，于法自在，护持佛种，永始不绝。愿一切众生常蒙诸佛之所称叹，普为世间做大施主，功德具足，充满法界，遍照十方，施无上乐。愿一切众生常为诸佛第一侍者，一切佛所修智慧行。
至高无上的加瓦噶玛巴，欢迎你回家。各位仁波切们、喇嘛们，来自各国的贵宾们，我们都是追随加瓦噶玛巴的信徒。我很荣幸有这个机会，能够在这里为加瓦噶玛巴建寺，一切来自于您的加持与眷顾。过去我如仆人般追随你，亦步亦趋，现在我亦如是，臣服在您的绵足之下。您不弃不离，赐给我勇气与智慧，直至成佛为止。希望你，祈求你，法轮常转，长久住世。任何嘱咐，请告诉我们，我必将尽力令圆满。最后，感谢所有的仁波切们、喇嘛们，以及所有的功德主，成就今天的殊胜聚会。我们需要您在心灵上给我们继续的指导与加持，一再的恳求。谢谢。
恭请尊贵的大宝法王陛下开示。
Very good morning， 大家早上好。I'm afraid even though it's been some time, I have not yet improved my Putonghua. So if I try to say a few things, it might be inappropriate because it's simply broken. 我第一次来的是1999年，然后这个是第四次，每次在台湾还是在别的国家，你们都有来，然后我们都有见很多，所以这次来是一个机会，对，所以很高兴还有这个机会，可是我很希望我希望我可以说很多，从普通话，可是还是不够，可以的话我会继续说用英文。Dear Lord Rinpoche of and all of his members, devotees, practitioners who are gathered here, all of devotees from around the nation, and then all of our venerable bhikshus and bhikshunis, as well as then venerables and rinpoches, and then of course most gracious of all, the nation, your wonderful nation, for your hospitality, for throughout the years of not just my own personal coming here, but for our flourishment of Buddha Dharma, and particularly噶瑪噶居 lineage, to be able to have its freedom of developing and expressing the precious teachings. And so therefore I appreciate wholeheartedly, and I very much appreciate your patience and your kindness for waiting for the whole day yesterday. And of course, personally, I also appreciate for having kept the台南噶瑪噶居monastery under wonderful conditions, and having developed continuously by our dear Lobang Rinpoche. And then for all of our Venerable Rinpoches and bhikshus and bhikshunis who have been here for many years, for many decades actually. And I really appreciate then all the Dharma practitioners for never wavering from your devotion to the Buddha Dharma. I think, or I can rather imagine the challenges that every practitioner goes through, particularly finding the courage and finding the wisdom and experience to be able to find a common ground, or to be able to avoid a separation between the spiritual life and the everyday, day-to-day life. When one lives life from a particular perspective, one cannot live without the other, let's say, the spiritual life and the daily responsibilities. In order to avoid that separation, in order to reduce that confusion, we have the Buddha Dharma, meaning that every aspect of the Buddha Dharma, be it the ritualistic aspect, be it the philosophical aspect, be it the application aspect, all of these have obviously tremendous effects, and it has the ability to help us reduce those confusions. There's often a very strong challenge at the beginning. I think that's mainly due to the fact that, to begin with, the spiritual aspect of life often comes across as something of a burden, of a duty, in a way that somehow it is a part of a culture, it is part of a tradition, and therefore somehow the very first interaction with the spiritual aspect is more of a tradition than actual spirituality. It is true that in general every aspect of religion has its own traditions, and that means even the Buddha Dharma has its own traditions as well. So therefore, in short, if I try to summarize of what I'm trying to say, is that for the initial period, at the beginning, of course when I say beginning, the beginning, it isn't actually confined to a few months or a few years. It could be that, but it could be longer as well. 没有一定. But the thing is that that initial part, that beginning, somehow to most of us we haven't much of a choice but to somehow get accustomed, get used to that traditional aspect of the spirituality. And if I was not clear when I just generalize and say tradition, it means basically, for example, the very practice that we do, or the various vows we keep, the various ordinations that we take, the various methods that were introduced, almost every aspect of the practice. All of these has a traditional aspect, meaning practices, teachings, the way of how to, almost to a point of how to think every aspect of the Buddha Dharma. At first, somehow we have not much of an option but how to say to somehow continue and somehow encourage ourselves to get used to it. In short, the reason for that is that for unknown numbers of past rebirths, for unknown numbers of karmic veils that we have accumulated, we have continuously conditioned the mind over and over again. So therefore, in order to truly understand the benefits or the result or the effect of, in this case, the Buddha Dharma, for the initial part we have not much of an option but to somehow accustom ourselves with that spiritual conditioning. Like for example, the truth is that we are our own teachers, we are our own masters in absolute. But at the moment, if we ask ourselves, can we rely on ourselves completely? The answer might be a little bit difficult. On a basis of logic and reasoning, without emotions, of course, we can see that it is flawless. It is true that one's own wisdom is one's own teacher. But as I said earlier, if we ask ourselves the reality that we are in, then we can see that at the moment, although it's extremely relative, there is a need to, to have, in this case, to have a path, to have, in this case, a merit to accumulate, a wisdom to accumulate, a negative karma to be purified, and to do all of this to rely on an outer teacher. So therefore, although it's not, at times it might be challenging to somehow to rely on these aspects of traditions, but we have to know relying on these outer conditions is just a temporary means, very absolute for now, right now. So therefore, I would like to ask all of you to your already developed devotion to maintain, to continue. And then, of course, personally from my own side, as well as I'm sure the rest of your teachers, mentors, guides, they will also pray, as well as they will also be there to support you on your way towards understanding the absolute. So then finally, we have a long day, of course. So Therefore, now I will conclude with basically once again, appreciation for all of you, and for this wonderful occasion again. Thank you, 谢谢 and 下次再见面。
这次法王噶玛巴祈愿之旅，驻习台湾的具德上师们、堪布喇嘛们，为祈求夏玛巴法王迅捷转世，为了法教兴盛、众生安乐，展现高度的凝聚力、团结友爱，共同承办法会圆满，为所有弟子实现了完美的身教。如来殿里里外外挤满等候加持的信众法友，在法王心中对众生平等真爱怜惜，无有内外亲疏贫富之别。这次法王授手引渡，一定要牢牢抓紧，承上法舟，深信见即解脱，且将法王慈容捐漏在心，意念不忘，直至成佛。